The first topic today we'll see is how we can translate the ER model to relational model. It means that whenever you create a ER model or the entity relationship model just before the real implementation or real creation of the relational model or real creation of your database, what we do is first we'll create the ER model, and from the ER model we use to implement the database or to create the relational model. So what are the way how we can map the ER model to relational model, that we'll see in this particular topic. So in the relational model, we know that it is made of different tables. So one relation is nothing but one table. So this is the equivalence of it, that we already know that a row in a table is a relational instance of a tuple. So a tuple in a table or the relational instance is nothing but the row in the table. What is the column in the table is nothing but the attribute. What is a table? Table is nothing but a schema or a relation. A schema means the structure of the table, right? Where it is defined like how many columns will be there, what should be the name of the column, what should be the data type of the column, what are the different integrity constraints that will apply on those columns. All those things are there in the table. Then we have cardinality, means number of rows, the how many rows are there in one table. Let's say we have 10 rows, 20 rows, 100 rows, 200 rows. So how many entries are there in the table? That is nothing but your cardinality. Then there is a degree, is called number of columns. So how many number of columns are there? This is called degree. Okay. So all these are useful in this particular topic. That's why we are learning all those things. Now, if you'll see this particular diagram in this, this CEO table, in table you have two entries. So two entry means cardinality equal to 2. And what is the degree? Degree, we have number of columns. So, or the number of attributes in the table. So how many attributes or how many columns are there? So here we have 4 columns. So the degree is 4. This is called attribute. And this is nothing but one tuple, right? One tuple. This is another tuple. In that way, we have this schema or a relation. From ER model to relational model. So how we do we convert an ER model into a table or into a relational model? So it is very simple. What are the basic idea behind it? So we'll build a table for each entity set. So each entity, whatever entity we have, so we know that in the entity relationship model, we have entity, and every entity will have some attributes. So that entity is nothing but the table name, and the attributes are nothing but the column of that particular table, right? So it is saying that the table, we have to create one table for each entity set. Then build a table for each relationship set if necessary. More on this later. Now it is saying that we have to create the table for the relationship set also. So the relationship, how we can define relationship in the ER model? So the relationship will be defined in the with the help of the diamond shape, right? So in this way we define the relationship, and this relationship is in between two entity, right? So here we have one entity, here we have another entity. These are straight away tables because they have different attributes, right? They have different attributes. So they are straight away we can convert into table. But this relation can also be converted into table. And what are the condition for that? So they should have some attribute, then only there will be a table, right? A table without an attribute, how you can create the table without an attribute? There should be some column names, right? Some columns name will be there, either one column, two column, or three column, whatever is there. One or more column should be there in a table, then only you can create a table. But this entity should have this relation should have these attribute. Then only we can create into table. That we'll see later part of this topic. Make a column in the table for each attribute in entity set. That we know that each attribute, this is attribute 1, this is attribute 2, here we have attribute 3, here we have attribute 4. So for this table, let's say this is entity 1 and this is entity 2. For entity 1, that in the table we have how many column? Two columns, A1 and A2. This is entity 1. Then we have another table where we have two columns, A3 and A4. This is entity 2, right? So it is saying that make a column in table for each attribute in the entity set. Indivisibility rule and ordering rule. So here uh, the ordering rule are actually, it is actually not defined that what should be the order of the column and what should be the order of creating or putting those columns in it. Okay. And the next thing that we have to do is we have to identify the primary key. What should be the primary key? So the primary key should be defined. So how you can define a primary key into a entity relationship model? There should be an underline, right? This is an attribute. Let's say this is roll number. So this is underline, right? This is showing that this particular attribute is a primary key. Let's see this example. This is very simple example. Both are strong entity set. So we know what do you mean by strong entity and what do you mean by weak entity, right? Weak entity means they doesn't have the primary key and means they doesn't have the attribute which can become the primary key. It's called weak entity set. Strong entity set means they have the primary key. So this is one example. Here it is. You can see how the relationship is n to 1, means many to 1. There's a student, many students are learning from one professor, and one professor is advisor of many students. In that way, there is a relation. Now, how we can convert this entity? So this is a student entity. In the student entity, we have student ID, name, major, and GPA that we have written here. For the professor entity, here we have SSN, name and department. It is also written here. So this is how you can convert this entity to table, this entity to table. Now let's see, this is how we are representing the strong entity set. Let's see how we can represent the weak entity set. So the weak entity set cannot exist alone. To build a table schema for weak entity set, these are the rule. The first is say that construct a table with one column for each attribute in the weak entity set. Remember in remember to include discriminator, argument one extra augment one extra column on the right side of the table, put in there the primary key of the strong entity set, the entity set that the weak entity set is dependent on. The primary key of the weak entity set is nothing but the discriminator plus a foreign key. So it is very simple. What it is saying, it is saying that if you are finding any weak entity set, then to convert into the table, see, this is the strong entity set. So the conversion is very simple. Let's assume that the professor will be the weak entity set. So how we can represent the weak entity set? With double, and there should be the total participation. There should be two lines. So this is your weak entity set. Weak entity set doesn't have the primary key. It has only the discriminator. It should be visible like this. So how we can convert this weak entity set? So there is this discriminator, the attributes are there, but there should be another attribute that will be augmented here, and that should be the primary key of this table. So what is the primary key? Here it is SID is the primary key. So this will come here in this particular table. This SID should come here, and both SID and the discriminator will become the primary key for this table if it is a weak entity set. For the strong, it is no problem. It will be like this only. This is for the strong. But for the weaker, we have to augment one column, which is the primary key of this. Let's see one example. Here you can see this children is the weak entity set. The representation is written here. Name is the discriminator. It is not a primary key. How we have converted is, so age and name is there, but we have taken the primary key of SID here. And in the children table, you can see the primary key is SID plus name. The discriminator plus the primary key of other table will become the primary key of this table. Getting it? So we have different type of relationship that we know, right? Now we'll talk about relationship. Relationship is nothing but in the year model we represent in the using the diamond shape, and this relationship may be unary or binary relationship. It means that the relationship will be with one table and it is relating to its own, otherwise it is relating to two tables. Or there will be an array relationship means n number of relationship set is possible, means one relationship is attached with more than two attribute, sorry, more than two entity. Let's say if there is one relationship which is attached with a student, professor, or let's say the academic, so this particular relationship is called an array relationship. Then there is an identifying relationship to know a relational model representation necessary for identifying the relationship. Now let's talk about these two, binary and an array relationship. Representing relationship set, unary binary relationship. For one-to-one relationship without total participation, how we can build one-to-one relationship without total participation? Build a table with two columns. One column of each participating entity set is the is your primary key. Add successive column, one for each descriptive attribute of the relationship set, if any. Let's talk about the first one, one-to-one without total participation. One-to-one. This is a one-to-one without total participation. There is no total participation, right? Total participation means there should be two lines, but it is only one line, so it is not. So this is the first one. How we can make this relationship as the table? So when converting this relationship into a table, first take the attribute of its own. So the attribute is degree, it is there, and we'll take the primary key of the left hand side and the primary key of right hand side into the column. Now this is becoming the study table. Getting it? So what is the primary key of this table? Is either SID or ID code. So either this will be the primary key or this will be the primary key. Okay. Now let's talk about the second condition. Second condition says that one-to-one relationship with one entity set is having total participation. So with one entity, we have the total participation. So what we do is augment one extra column of the right side of the table of the entity set with total participation. Put in there the primary key of the entity set without complete participation as per the relationship. So let's see this. So here we have the one-to-one, but the relationship is here we have total participation. So how we have converted it? So this table is having one attribute. That attribute is here. Now, where we have only no total participation, here the primary key will take only from the uh, from this table. We are taken the primary key, and all the attribute we have taken from the entity which have the total participation. So 1, 2, 3, 4, all we are putting here. Okay, so this is how we can create the table for this have relation. And in this case, we doesn't have to create the table for the student because all the attributes are already here in the relationship. So we doesn't have to create the table for it if we have the total participation. Now here it is saying that either SID, which is the primary key of the student, or serial number, which is a primary key of this relation, can be the primary key for this table, have table. Okay, this is one-to-one relation with total participation. Now let's go to one-to-many relationship without total participation. Same as one-to-one. So whatever we have seen with one-to-one means we'll take the primary key of one table, another primary key of another table. So one primary key we are putting into the relationship set. That will same do with this. Now let's go for another one. One to many or many to one relationship with one entity set having total participation in many side. Now previously we have the total participation in one side. Let's talk about total participation in many side. So let's see, this is the many side where we have the total participation. So here what we have done is the attribute is there. The right hand side, because we have we doesn't have the total participation, we'll take only SSN here. And right now here we have how many columns? So we have SID, name, major, and GPA. We are putting all together. What is the difference between the previous one and this one? Here the primary key of this table will be SID only, will not consider SSN as the primary key. That is the only difference. So if we have one to one, what will happen? The table will be the same, but there is an option of taking the SID as the primary key as well as SSN as the primary key. But because there is an AND to one, so we can take only this one, will not take this. This is the only difference between one-to-one relationship with total participation or many-to-one relationship with total participation. Now let's talk about many-to-many relationship. Same thing as one-to-one relationship without total participation. Primary key of this new schema is the union of foreign key of both the entity set. No augmentation approach possible. So it will be the same as this. And the primary key, you can make a union of both the left hand side table as well as right hand side table. N-array relationship. So what is n-array relationship and how we can use it? So generally what will happen is in the relationship, it may be look like this. So we have entity set, we have n number of entity set which is related with one relation only. So how we can make the table for it? So if you want to create the table for this relationship set, so this is attribute is coming here. Here we have one, as you can see here we have n, but there is no total participation. So it will be like that. We'll take the primary key of this, then we'll take the primary key of this, then we'll take the primary key of this, then we'll take the primary key of this. It's very simple. Now here primary key of the table could be key 1 or key 2 or key 3, right? It may be your primary key from n side. AK will not be considered as the primary key. Now let's talk about the composite attribute. So we have many type of attribute, right? We have simple attribute, primary attribute, derived attribute, composite attribute. Then we have a compound attribute. There are different type of attribute, right? Let's talk about composite attribute. So composite attribute is here in this particular diagram. The composite attribute is address. The relational model individually rule applies one column for each component attribute, no column for the composite attribute itself. Now here no column will be there for the composite attribute, and one column will take the attribute of this composite attribute. So here how many columns will be there? This is one column, this is another column, this is another column, and this is another one. So we have four columns for this particular table, professor table: SSN, name, street, and city, and we'll omit the address column. Will not put the address column here because we doesn't have data to put in the address column, because address is made from street and city. If the name has the composite attribute like first name, middle name, or last name, so what will happen? We have to put how many columns? One, this will be two, this will be three, this will be four, this will be five, and this will be six. So we have six columns only. Even though in the diagram how many attribute you are getting? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight attribute, but you will get only six column. Why? Because this composite attribute will not be considered as a column in the table. Now let's talk about multi-valued attribute. What happened to multi-valued attribute? We know that. What do you mean by multi-valued attribute, right? So multi-valued attribute means one attribute may have different values. Means let's say the phone number. So one person has more than one phone number. So how we can put it? Because we know that only one data we can put into the field. So how we can handle those type of attribute here? So for that, build a new relational schema with two column. So we have to build a new relational schema with two columns. One column of the primary key of the entity set that has the multi-value attribute. Another column will be the multi-value attribute itself. So what will happen here is we are doing the one NF. So in the first NF, what will happen is, or in the fourth NF where we are talking about multi-value attribute, we'll split the table into two table, in which we put two column. In one column we have the primary key, another column we have the attribute, which is the multi-value attribute. The primary key of this schema is the union of all attribute. If you'll see this is one ER model. Here we have the entity student. Student will have how many columns? SID, name, major, GPA, and phone number. Because phone number is multi-value attribute, we'll create another table for this, where we have in one table we have student name, major, and GPA. Another table we have this SID will be there because this is the primary key, and the column which is a multi-value attribute, which is a phone. Getting it? Now here in this, the primary key of this table is student ID, the union of all attribute. So here the primary key will be both UID as well as phone number will be the primary key. Now we may have the hierarchical approaches that we have seen in generalization and specialization, right? In the generalization, we'll go from up to down, and specialization will go to down to up. So the representation is the same, like this. Here we have entity, here we have entity, here we have entities. So let's say there is person, it may be a student, it may be faculty. So person has person ID, it's person name, person, let's say address. The same thing will be here, but a student has its own identity, right? A student has its, apart from that, it's student ID, huh? And it's a branch, it's semester, but adding to all those things, right? Because the student also have its ID, let's say the Aadhaar card or PAN card or some ID. The student also have name, student also have address. Now, if you talk about faculty, apart from all those attribute, faculty has a unique attribute like faculty ID, or it has the branch, maybe the designation. What is the designation of that faculty? So all those. So apart from these attribute is also there. So if we'll create the student table, it will be all these columns plus this column. So these are the three columns and these are the three columns, so it will become six column. Faculty, how many columns? These are the three columns and these are the three column, it will be six columns. So you can see this is called hierarchy, or the approaches are there. Let's see the example so that you can understand. There's a person is a student, right? Or person may be the faculty, but here faculty was not there, it is is a simple form. Now the person table, this is how we can create the person table: SSN, name and gender. And how we can create the student table: so student has SLD, status, major, GPA, but apart from that will connect with SSN also, so that these two table will be connected, because the student has its name also, student has its gender also, right? The student has a social security number like Aadhaar card also. So this, with this primary key we have attached it, so that these two will be attached to each other. Okay. And in this table you can see the primary key is SSN, not SID. It is SSN. So the primary key of this table will become the foreign key of this table, in that way. Now if we have these type of scenario, we have, as I told you, people, student and faculty, then what will happen? The student will be like this and the faculty will be like this. So this SSN, you can see here, the SSN and name is there, SSN and name is there, SID, major and GPA. Here we have department attribute, and SSN and name also will come here. Okay. Now in this scenario, we doesn't have to create the table, separate table for people. We doesn't have to create the separate table for people. This is how we can make the aggregation. So we have an array relationship, that is advisor is the relationship between a student, professor and the member. So what we have done is we made this is one entity, and now this member R become the relationship between this entity and this entity. Getting it? So this member has been converted in this form. So we'll take the primary key of this, primary key of this, as well as the primary key of this. And we are making the, okay, this advisor. This is a table for the advisor. Okay. This is a table for the advisor. This SID, this SSN, and the primary key, this which is code that we have created and made one table.